you're also a specialist in the writing grant. I saw you help people write grant for NIH, right? NIH,
Mhm.
and then other organisms. Can you talk a little bit about that and about writing grant and how can you help people on that field?
So writing a grant is a lot different than coding, first of all. So usually when people come to me with like an idea, they like have a sort of rough sketch of what the study they want to do, and then I go in and like fill in the background and then sort of write out their like sketch and do sort of a procedure in order to run the study. And then I look into like the significance of the study, why it's important, what gaps in the literature it is filling. And then I look at like the timeline it will take to complete the study. And then if it's like a study that needs people, I also write like the consent form and then the procedure and then like how people are going to be recruited. And it's very good to write grants because that's how you like at the end of the day, that's how you get money. But it's also good to like write out like strategically what you're thinking about and like have everything planned out in one space.
So for a small business owner out there, someone who has a small business looking to get some funding, looking to get some grants, what advice can you give them?
I would say start writing grants as soon as possible because you want to have sort of your idea of the business written down somewhere, like as quickly as possible. So you have something to look back to when you're like doing the business. Especially like small business startups, like things change just so fast. It's good to have something like written down that you can refer back to. And it's like, oh, I said this. Oh, I wanted this to be like my market. Oh, I had this idea in order to complete this study. And then if that changes, you can always go back to that document and work around it. So start writing grants early. And if you get a successful grant, you get money, then you can do more stuff and it grows your business. So it's never too early to write grants.
And what are some of the business, the organizations that can offer that are offering grants for small businesses?
So there's two big ones, basically in the academic, like scientific field. There's two big ones, which are the NIH and the NSF. And they have an SBIR, which is a small business, I think, innovative research grant. And you can basically apply to any idea that you have. It's like an open grant, and they give, I think, like a $250,000 if you win the grant. And they do it pretty much year round. You can apply whenever you want. And it's a good place to like write down your entire like grant scheme, like how you're going to, structure your business, why is your business different, and have all that stuff written down in one space. And they also award a lot, and there's a lot of people that have gone through it, and they're very willing to like help you write those grants if you reach out to them. So I would recommend going to those. There's also grants.gov, which has a lot of grants just available, like government grants that are just available that you can apply to, which I would also look into. Yeah, those are the things that I would look into if you're looking for grants.
That's good. It's very good to help, small businesses get started with some kind of funding and, go from there. So let's switch to technology and cloud computing. Obviously, I saw on your website, everything you have expertise in AWS, Amazon Web Services. So can you talk a little bit about that with AWS, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, and what future you see for the cloud business?
I have most of my experience in AWS. I've only used like Azure like a little bit.
Okay.
And for Google Cloud, I haven't used it that much, but it is very useful in getting something built very quickly and building that to scale. So there's a lot of tools in there that you can build something that's like a rough prototype, and it's very straightforward to build that into like an actual product that people can use very quickly. They also have a lot of tutorials. Like everything is very well documented. So if you ever have any questions, you can just go into those tutorials or look online and you'll be able to figure out something very quickly, or someone can help you figure out something very quickly. And I don't see cloud computing going anywhere. It's like too big to fail at this point.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
here to stay.
It is here to stay, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah, it's that's a good point. It's very good for scaling, like say building your technology very quickly. You can scale in, or you can expand or scale it back, right? depending on what you need. And they have a good, if like say you can call them, they can support you when you're building your apps, right?
Yes, yes, exactly. So one of the first apps that I built in there was a like restaurant chatbot, and I called AWS to help us like figure out. It was like the first experience with AWS, and I called AWS to like figure out how to hook up like Lex is like the thing that does like the chatbot stuff for AWS, like how to hook up Lex to like a DynamoDB and how to hook it up to like a front end, and they're very helpful in figuring that out.
And let's talk about some of the technologies like GitHub, Git
Mm.
and GitHub. How important is GitHub?
GitHub is immensely important. It is one of the most important things, I would say. Yeah, that's like what you're going to be judged at if you're like applying to jobs.
Mm-hmm.
One of the main things you're going to be judged on is like the quality of your GitHub, because it tells you what projects you've worked on
Mm-hmm.
and also how well you write code
Mm-hmm.
and also how well you document your code
Mm-hmm.
and how well you explain your code to other people. So it's very good litmus test of like how put together your code is.
So people who hire, the hiring managers, they usually go check your GitHub and see, what are some of the projects you already done there. And also Git is very for working as a team, right? Let's say you for sharing most of the software developer, most of the developers, you work as a team. You only have one portion, right, of the code, and Git help you to do those Git push, Git pull command, right, to work as a team, right?
Yes, yes. It makes it very seamless,
Yeah.
like doing git pull and commit and pulls and commits and stuff like that.
And then Wix, you also do web design. So you have Wix, and Wix is what do you think about it? Is it sometimes it can be expensive, right? Because they have these templates that you can get and then modify. Is it better to go with Wix, WordPress, or just start from scratch, do HTML5, CSS, and create your web design?
That's a great question because it all depends on what you want to do at the end of the day.
Right.
Like if you want to be a web designer, then I think it's worth just trying to build the website from scratch, just to have that experience. But if you're like, me, I don't really want to be a web designer. I just need like a website to show off my portfolio and, like get clients for freelancing. So Wix was like the easiest option in creating something simple like that. And I've also heard WordPress is like not as good because it's not as user friendly and there's like a larger learning curve. But if you like WordPress, go for it. But if you're starting out and doing websites and you just need a website to do something, I highly recommend Wix.
So how easy is it to set up a website with Wix? Let's say you want a very simple website, something that show off your skills, like you said, your portfolio. Is that gonna take you 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month? How easy is it?
It should take you like a weekend to like set up a nice looking portfolio in Wix. Yeah, my website took me like roughly a weekend to put together.
And how about the domain name, the host, where you can host the website? Do they offer all that as a package, or you gotta get it somewhere else?
I forget if they offer it as a package. I got mine from GoDaddy,
Right.
and they have a GoDaddy tie-in that you can just use that for the domain name in
Right.
Wix. But they probably do have their it would be smart for them to have also a domain business because it's like very synergistic for their website business.